Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday, if it is indeed Friday where you live. And for those of you in United States, how is your Thanksgiving? How is your East? How is your Halloween? One of those is going to be good. Welcome to November Energy Forecast. I love sharing these. I love challenging myself with these. They're intuitive forecasts based off the energy of the month that's upcoming. And the best way to listen into this information is just to feel into how you might be experiencing not only the change from last month into this month, but also the things that you have in your sights for what you want to accomplish for this next couple months before the year ends, as well as what 2025 is going to bring for you. So, as we begin, this is going to be a really great video to come back. Hello, Alyssa. Hi, Candy. Apparently, I'm having trouble like actually saying words this morning, but it's all good. We're going to dive into the energies the month brings. We're going to dive into some of the themes that want to present themselves this month and some of the things that you might have been actually realizing these are themes for you as well. So this is a collective viewpoint. And as we look at it from a numerological perspective, we're looking at the empowering energies and then some of the energies within the numbers that can keep us in the disempowering patterns. But what I love about this beautiful expression is that it brings us back to ourselves. So it's never going to be something outside of what we have the power within us to actually create. It's going to be an opportunity to lean into some insights that may actually very well jar a new way of looking at things. Maybe that next piece that we've been kind of clouded and stuck in, and help us move to the next empowering action step that's going to move us toward our goals, going to move us towards what we really want to create, and also help us move us through those blind spots, those patterns, those things we all have. Every one of us has different levels of blind spots, different levels of doubts, of fears, of insecurities, but also we don't need to let that stop us. We get to embrace even the patterns that show up frequently when we get to know ourselves more in depth and we understand that they're actually here for us to see, feel, and move through. Then we begin to really tap in and embody our unstoppable, limitless nature. So we get to just be the imperfect human that we are while we're on this journey to create more in our experience. And so we begin with where we ended, right? So this year specifically has been a year of momentum. It's a year inviting us into our own personal mastery, our own personal power of choice, and to really allow who we become as we're in the momentum of what we're wanting to create, as well as who we become when we're in the momentum of when things seem to be spiraling. That we don't need to fall prey to the spiral. We get to actually step into that next piece for ourselves and realize with love and grace that it's all part of the journey. So October came in strong with a 9 energy month, which was really bringing to our attention those things that aren't working anymore, whether they're conversations, habits of ourselves, people, relationships, the way we relate to the relationship with things. So many endings were coming, but not as like the dramatic ending. There's no new thing coming from it, but in a way that we can no longer not see where this wasn't working for us in our life. And so through the month, whether we expected it or not expected it, there was many changes that brought us to the awareness that I've got to do something different. Whatever I've been doing isn't working anymore. Or even the energy of I'm done with this, I must begin something new. So you've been clearing things out, maybe a lot of clutter, maybe physical representations of things just needing to move. And this month, we welcome ourselves into a 1 energy month. And this month is saying, this focus, this flow that you're looking for, the abundance and the love that's already here is already around you and it's waiting to grow. Will you let it in? So it's a beautiful conversation into this first 7 days, 6 days of this week, particularly, where we land into the diamonds, what are inviting us into our abundance, our money, our wealth, our receiving. How are we at receiving more, asking for more, relating to more? And what is our relationship with abundance? Do we realize how abundant we truly are? That everything's worked itself out, that we currently know it will work out, and that in the future things will work out. In those three places, there's a belief, there's the way the body feels, not as something to stop you, but as something to welcome in and feel and sit with, as a way to think, where did this actually come from? This belief around abundance and money and wealth. Do I feel like I'm limited, or am I ready to expand myself beyond what I've known? Knowing that you've not been there before. You've been this beautiful culmination up until this point, energetic expression, beautiful, unique expression of your life. And although it may not have shown you, the thing that you're striving for, the 300, 400, 500,000, the millions, doesn't mean it doesn't belong to you. And in fact, if you have that vision within you and you see it in others and think, oh, what would that be like? It's actually for you to explore. There isn't one of us that doesn't have $1 million idea if we allow ourselves to decide that we want it, that we're the one who can have it, that we're the one who has the ideas flowing through us. In fact, we're the conduit for the ideas that we pick up in the consciousness around us. Most of us are having trouble with the belief or some level of belief that it's actually can be yours in this lifetime. So this relationship really invites you into more intentional, loving spaces to be with yourself, to be with what uncovers itself along the way. And also, this worth piece, how is it directed to your level of enoughness, worth, value, from a place of your value doesn't come from how busy you are, from the accomplishments you've made, the achievements you're able to do, or the amount of money in your bank account. It comes from knowing that you're your own unique expression, that there's nothing else you need to do. Everything you need is inside of you. Will you allow it to shine through? Will you allow yourself to step out of the comfort zone, to explore the place of resistance that is really the key code? Through the resistance is where you're going to find the gold in abundance, right? And more of it. And as you do more of that, you land into what you can actually create. And then the momentum that's here to back that with you shows you very quickly. Do I need to course correct? Do I allow myself more? Because it's interesting with our relationship with abundance, wealth, money, any of the words, the way it feels, any previous judgments, the way you grew up with the thoughts around those things, they all impact how we think and how we feel. And how we think and how we feel impacts what we think about most, which creates belief, which embeds in the body and shows up as a lot of times when we're limiting ourselves, the shoulds, the need tos, and the have tos of life, if we pulled those out of our language and we get to, want to, and decide to, like that's a whole different energetic relationship, right? So being aware of what's running through your mind, what are the thoughts around that? What are the judgments? But then allowing yourself the space to go, oh yeah, I've been judging around that. I've been judging when people have more than me, because it really comes from a belief even earlier back, or maybe a reinforcement within your own family, or as you were growing, those places where we maybe adopted the belief that we weren't enough. And so then where does that show up in the ways that we're relating to money, to abundance, to all of these relationships in our life? And then is it a relationship of like an intimate, delicious, luxurious relationship? Where might there still be some lack and scarcity that wants to be seen? And remember, energy doesn't die. The energetic expression behind lack or scarcity actually gets to move into something else. So if it doesn't die, it's got to move into something different. But so many of us aren't realizing. We realize when we don't want the thing, but we don't. Wow, here comes the words again. We don't realize that the thing that we don't want is actually moving it towards what we do. if we spent time in feeling how we want to feel when the abundance is here, when the clients are flowing in, when the money's in the bank account, and we visualize that time, we wait because there's a gap in between how we think and how we feel and what's the majority of time spent in that versus the universe showing us and catching up. But it also doesn't have to take a lot of time. So we're really being provided with the journey you've been on, and we're going to amplify that belief that what you want wants you. So on the 7th of this month, we're really landing into now what we've been creating is showing up, and these beautiful gifts of abundance in our relationship to it. We're invited into this more relationship of a loving mind, mastering our mind, but also letting the ideas flow through. So we're really landing into our dreams being activated and the belief behind exactly what we were talking about. So from the 7th through the 19th, we're in the club's energy, which is how we're thinking about things, how we're expressing, how we are loving our career, how we are communicating. And all of these pieces, depending on where your focus in life is going to reveal to you, again, a place we can love more, accept more, and allow ourselves to really begin to believe more deeply in the dreams that are being activated for us. Perhaps you've completed a lot of cycles. Perhaps some of the goals and dreams you've had for yourself came to completion last month. So now it's about setting that next 90 days, 6 months, a year out into the future, but also to step your foot on the gas and not actually pull back thinking, well, the year's over. Sometimes we can energetically feel like, well, okay, well, that was a great year. And it's October. I mean, we're November 1st. We still have just a little less than 60 days to make difference in all areas of our life. Don't wait till January. So we have a lot of these energies coming in saying what you want wants you. Have you fully decided? Have you focused your commitment? Have you focused your attention to being more focused? And are you allowing the frequency of that experience of yourself to come in so you can tune into how you think and how you feel? And when you tune into that, how it allows us to take action or sabotages us from taking action. So there's a lot of power in leveraging these energies, these patterns that show up in ourselves. And if we're wondering where we are in the spectrum of that, we can look at the results. When we love the results, we keep going. When we don't love the results, it's an opportunity for a pivot, for a tweak, for like, if you're cooking a recipe in the kitchen and it didn't quite turn out, you do it again. You take something out and put something else in without being attached to it. You just keep trying, right? So it's kind of that energy, but also landing more deeply into the belief that we were saying we're holding the vision of what we say that we want, and we're realizing who we are in the holding. And then what comes up while we're waiting? Are we trying to dictate how much time it takes, how it's so supposed to be, what time it happens, what it looks like? Because the universe just sits back at that point and says, you got this, I'll wait, right? We're allowing ourselves a deeper relationship with the unknown and making space for what else wants to come in without trying to dictate the outcome. And it's a very nuanced subtlety. So I'm curious how this is landing for you. Really, this whole month is really asking us to get out of our head and into our channel, into our heart, into the deeper parts of us, to allow that voice to be spoken and to be revealed. You know, when we drop those decisions out of the mind into the body, or we take the indecision and focus the decision down in and say, I'm all in, the body then has all the mechanisms to take the actions to do the things. So we get the mind and the body on board, right? So much of our time is spent in separation. I want it, I don't want it. It's a good day, it's not a good day. You know, it's about us navigating our own energetic expression and our energy management to take our power back from where we give it away. So the 20th of the month comes in and we start leading the rest of the month with hearts. So really the self-love piece. Now this is a bit beyond just loving ourselves, you know, and believe me, I love the manicures and I love the baths and they're all important, but this is the mental love. This is the belief love. This is allowing ourselves to extend beyond anything we've known before. because we're bringing in our faith. We're bringing in God, source, universe. We're bringing in whatever that is for you and a deeper devotion to that love so we can really lead our life through the love lens. This is unconditional love. This isn't always relationship, but isn't it funny when we can allow ourselves and extend our expansion in how we love ourselves and how we love our mind, and we bring ourselves more into that beautiful state of being, that we can actually then ripple out even more love into those relationships. But it's not about looking for it first externally, it's about becoming it internally. So we're really inviting ourselves to lead with love and to navigate those waters as we create. So creation energies, 3 energy days this month are really allowing the universe to conspire and amplify our focus, attention, and frequency. And those 3 energy days specifically are Saturday, November 2nd. We've got, hold please. Oh, the 11th, November 11th. And we've got the 21st. So it's so out, and also on the 30th. So we have these beautiful days, these pinpoints, beginning, middle, end of the month to amplify more of what we want. And one of the things I love sharing with my clients or with my videos and talking about the energy, the one thing I remembered most, because it was something I really worked on years before where I'm at now, was if you're someone who feels like your mind is constantly running and you've got anxiety and you've got worry and frustration, and that's your typical 51%, right? The 3 energy really reminds us it's either or. You can't have both. You have anxiety, worry, or frustration, or you have creation and the love of what you're creating. And so if you can think in that moment, if I'm feeling anxious, worried, frustrated, I can ask better questions. What's worrying me? What's frustrating me? What's creating the anxiousness? Because it's a moment in time. And when we get back into flow of what we're creating or what we've actually been spending too much time worrying about, we can get back on board with ourselves to focusing on the thing, the habit, the thing we said that we want, the time, the focus, and attention. That moves us toward the creation more. So let me take a break real quick and look in the comments. I see that my internet might be doing a weird little slowdown. Just stay with me because it will come back. And let me see what you guys have to say. I love this. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Lakshmi. Hi, Doreen. So lovely to see you. Lakshmi says, I'm in such a beautiful vibration now after an intense ancestral healing that has blown my heart and mind wide open. So yes, Lakshmi, we were saying at the beginning, 9 energy can often do that. And we just spent an entire month in October really breaking down those things that can no longer not be seen. So now the question is, now that that's healed, now what? We don't go back and continue to heal. We create. So what needs to rise and move rises and moves. And then we use our mastery, we use our emotional mastery, we use our belief shifting, we use all of these beautiful tools to move us in the direction or to begin to understand ourselves more deeply. Oh, this is how I've held this, and I don't need to do that anymore. Who do I become now when I don't have all that impeding my actions, my worry, my mind? We've since it was Halloween, all the spider webs of the mind just opened, right? There's all this space. And that's what we want. We want more spaciousness, more harmony. We want more lucrative fun. But if we're not deciding how to fill that space, your brain has automation cycles. And it'll literally say, hey, wait, I made something efficient over here. And whether you like it or not, you're really good at dealing with that now because we've been doing it for so long. So it's really inviting us into allowing it to go, oh, wait, nope. It's moving us into where I haven't been before, and I get to be strong here too. I get to step into my self-authority and my power and trust and believe in myself just a bit more. And it might feel a little wonky as it shifts, but I've got this. And soon that will become the dominant pattern. Remembering that the mind often would rather stick to what's familiar, even if it doesn't feel good, than to make a change and be out there in the unknown space. And that's why so many of us decide, this feels better in my comfort zone, even on a subconscious level when we consciously want something different. It's about really recognizing those patterns within us, or even what's rising now, so we can take that next empowering step. Because there's always higher perception and there's always more love, that unconditional, beautiful, unifying unity consciousness, higher perception, higher awareness, for which then we can start a new cycle. And so that's the curiosity. And then the resistance is the key, where we can love even deeper, or give ourselves grace or forgiveness, or moving through those cycles to then be able to free the body to feel something next and new. Love that. And Lakshmi says, exactly. It cleared numerous lifetimes of shiz. And all I'm here for is to co-create through playing, having fun, and being authentic. I love that so much. And so, it's funny. As we start new skills, we allow ourselves to teach and play, right? And so in doing that, we learn so much more from who we become through that experience, and celebrating who we are at the end of that experience than pre-deciding, oh, it's not worth doing, right? So I wanted to also pull some cards today around the themes, because I play this game. Maybe you guys do it too. Well, let's just see if that's actually what's happening here. Let's just see if this is what I've come up with and it's aligned. And so I pulled 4 cards out of one of my favorite decks, and they're in order for the themes. And since I've been sharing with you the themes that came up in my notes and what I was channeling this morning, I come back and it's fun to look at, like, what are the cards bringing us. So the first one is really leaning in to that you've worked hard at what you've been creating all year long, that you've worked hard up into this moment, and now's the time to enjoy the fruits of the labor. So really allowing that celebration of the successes. They're well deserved. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but it doesn't mean you haven't had beautiful successes along the way. So that energy of relationship with our abundance, our money, our wealth, it's not just financial. It's in all the places where we're living abundantly. I promise you, there are ways to which others are living that are not as abundant as what we are. And then there are ways below that where people are living that are not as abundant as that level, right? And when we can realize how much we actually have, and we can set the energy of that to it's endless in what we can create, we can remember that, people from all walks of life, all different situations and circumstances, have created millions and successes. And we're not different from that. But perhaps how we were taught growing up and how we've learned to adopt those beliefs along the way are part of what slows us down or prevents us from looking at those things that can actually be redirected. Does that make sense? And that really begins for me with the celebration of how far we've come, because when we're overachievers and we're highly ambitious women and men, we can oftentimes overlook how much we actually did accomplish. And in that, we skip over the celebration, and we don't realize that we're in a different space than we were. But when we really spend time with, okay, how am I thinking about where I'm not yet? Am I so focused on where I'm not yet, I'm skipping over the fruits of my labor? Like, I'm missing the present moments. I'm missing what's already here. That energy is really coming into this first 2 weeks of the month, and really inviting you to a different perspective, and really allowing that to amplify in more abundance. And then the relationship with letting more in. Those are 2 different things. The relationship with scarcity and lack that might be fragmented moving through your system, and the other relationship of allowing more in. Are there resistances or judgments around having more? Abundance, wealth, health, vitality, they're all our birthright. We were never born to be in lack of it. We've learned that over living this human experience. But it also represents that it's not the only way. And so allowing yourself to educate, to explore, to teach, to see who you've become by looking back, connecting those dots, and realizing they've all been a piece of the master plan along the way. Now, Some of us have a lot of deep things that happen to us. That doesn't mean that, it just means those are the things we've come to experience in a way that brings us some strength, some resilience, that you wouldn't be here now if you hadn't learned things from that. It's not to um, condone or excuse any behavior from anyone else who's harmed you. It's about allowing that strength and resilience from where you are now to be amplified as well, because you're still here. It didn't defeat you. And so we could either spend time in what was, or we begin with what is now, and we amplify what we're wanting from there. So it's really powerful and beautiful. The other card was that very same thing. True abundance is yours. You have everything you need for the strong foundation. The foundation may need strengthened and stabilized along the way, but you have all the ideas, the wisdom, everything you ever need inside of you. And your belief system will let you see or see where you're resisting that within yourself. And that's going to be a very big piece for the next 2 months, especially in allowing that healing to take place, finding somebody to help you through that so it can also amplify the results and quantum leap you into a new timeline. Because all of that is real, it's science based, proven, but our experience of ourselves in it may be the thing that needs the strengthening, right? The belief. So the other theme, as we're moving from middle month towards the end of the month, is really allowing more of that joy, rediscovering joy and purpose in our life, the joy, the love, the renewal that the disruption created, right? We disrupt the pattern. We disrupt what we no longer cannot see, and we make new decisions. That disruption's leading to an opportunity for more love, more joy, more harmony, more freedom, more play, more adventure. So this really becomes an honest to goodness conversation with yourself around, where do I think I'm having the play that I say that I want? And where did I really shortchange myself to allow myself to now make the decisions to sign up for the class, to go meet with friends, to go beyond what I've been doing, to look at my own behaviors and habits and break that cycle so I can decide and take action on something new, a new perspective, a new physical thing, a new way of looking at things, a way of communicating internally that allows more joy, more freedom, more play, and more adventure to amplify. So that is such, I mean, you can't make that up, right? And so we're all being activated with these new codes within us to be able to expand upon that. And then lastly, allowing those partnerships with source, with others in your life, with your business. It's a relationship with your business. What is needed now? What is needed next? Are there people to come in and help support you? Are there collaborations that help you support each other? And looking at those gifts that everyone brings into all relationships in our lives. And so really retraining the mind to not look for the problem, but look for the gift. So nobody has to be as awakened as you are. Nobody has to be deciding or doing things the way that you do. You're owning your own unique expression and allowing the love for someone else's. And in that filter of perception, you're bringing in those that add the thing that you don't have to go learn. They get to bring in the sparkle of the joy, the representation of the organization, the play, the creation. And this can be in multiple areas of life. So it really, again, the focus and attention and frequency, do what you do best. Ask for help where you haven't been asking for help, whether in business, in your health, or in your own conversations in relationship, and let that be the deepening when we bring it back into a higher consciousness around what we actually are wanting to experience, and realizing that we get to be the experience. We get to be the one who decides to become it first instead of waiting for the world to show us, and then we'll participate as the evidence arrives. We become it, and the mind will find the evidence to amplify even more of what we're wanting. That's how it works, right? We've got this beautiful thing called reticular activation system. So if you're now looking for the possibility, you're looking for the limitlessness, you're looking for the abundance, you're feeling into the belief that what you want wants you, you're letting yourself be in this growth and evolution of your own wealth cycle, then your mind, 51%, that's all it takes, 51 over what you've, humanly will think of, that's in the other direction. We course correct with that, then that reticular activation system kicks on and says, oh, you want more of that? Oh, I'll find you evidence. But then if you keep focusing on the evidence and that more is possible and you keep amplifying that own energetic expression, then I'll also show you other ways that you haven't thought of yet. I'll show you to see more and more and more. And pretty soon the people come in, the resources come in, the evidence starts to be undeniable that it's already here, because everything you want is also in the field that's already here. We're the ones that are, it's like it's waiting for us to step in to a frequency that allows us to peel back the cobwebs and see that it's already here. We can actually ask ourselves to focus on more of it, right? Just as if we're focusing on the worry, the stress, and all the things, or life threw us for a loop and then we find ourselves in cycle of the fear, then same thing happens. It's universal law. We'll find evidence for more fear. We'll find proof for what doesn't work. We'll find proof for more anxiety. So we can always be looking at the mirror life shows us and say, oh, I love this. None of us are going, oh, I love this. How can I change it? No. We love it. Keep going. It's the things we don't love, or maybe they aren't showing up. And where can we look at our own energy and say, how am I thinking about this? How am I feeling about this? Where can I make a subtle shift to see what kind of ripple effect comes from my own action of shifting? Because that's when the gold is really in your pocket, right? When you realize every conversation, every event, every chaotic twist can often be a response from the universe, reorganizing your physical place around you to catch up to the frequency you are. But sometimes we're just thinking it's not working, so we don't let ourselves hold the vision and we step back. Oh, that's right. That's just evidence and proof it's not working. No, it's being like discombobulated. Oh, I wonder where this is leading next. Oh, I've been doing the work. Ooh, let me just watch this unfold in curiosity and openness. See the differences? The energy allows us to look at those things and come back within ourselves and say, oh, there's a little shift here. And before you know it, that reticular activation begins looking for a possibility. You become a possibilitarian in ways you hadn't been before. And then you get to see the areas of life where maybe that old belief system and pattern is still activated. And you also get to feel in your nervous system what wants to rise up, be witnessed, nurtured, loved, and say, yeah, I can see where we've done this for 40, 50, whatever years, but we're not doing it anymore. So it's okay that you're responding this way. I get it. And take a deep breath and allow more of that love to pour in, and realize it gets to shift with you too. You're literally pulling the older parts of you with you that have been arrested in development along the way. And together you run forward. So let me know how this lands with you. This feels really complete. I want to check comments, and honestly, I might grab my phone just so I make sure I see everybody. So feeling into this, how is this landing for you? Does this feel accurate to the journey you've been on until now, and then maybe even some of the insights and answers towards what's next for you? I'd love to know in the comments. Make sure this is down. Okay. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Lakshmi. Still here. I love this so much. Oh, I didn't see this one. Lakshmi says, yes, this is an epic time in life. I'm feeling beyond blessed and look forward to sharing more of my gifts with the world. Oh, I hope so. You're such a beautiful artist and such a beautiful creator, and it's much needed in all the ways that you'll get to not only explore more of, but also embrace and realize that it's been there all along, which is so beautiful. So I wanted to also invite you guys, if this is something that's really interesting to you and you're not currently in my group, the Intuitive Leaders Rising, I invite you to come over. We do a lot of readings every single week of the month. We also do some mastery conversations on Monday. And we have these beautiful workshops and opportunities to connect within the group. Monday at 8 a.m., we're actually going to gather on Zoom for a frequency upgrade. So, this very same thing that we're listening and learning to in here, we're going to be able to experience it in our body on a Zoom call. So, if this is something that sounds exciting for you, be sure to mark your calendar. There's an event created within the group. Come over and join the group, and then come talk with me, be with me, get some hot seat love coaching on the call. And then also, these beautiful depictions, these forecasts are not only here for us collectively, but we each have our own beautiful forecast within our chart. So we can look at our year ahead. We can look at our current position in our year, how far we've come, what's ahead, and we can get the themes for ourselves in our own year and what may present a challenge. Now, you're at will. You're constantly moving and changing decision and direction. And so it gives you an idea of where the pattern may show up that we might disempower ourselves in, and also what else is possible. So if you haven't had your chart done, you're curious about your numerology chart, I invite you to really dive into this experience. And right now I have them at 50% off, honoring Black Friday, but I'm sneaking it a little bit early. So if you want to explore that, and it's a beautiful hour call with me. You get a written report. You get to understand your personality codes, as well as the codes that are here for you specifically this year to clear the karma and move into your dharmic expression, which is simply move the lessons, the completions into new beginnings, but also where are you in the cycle of that transformation? And where can we help you? I was going to say unstick the stuck, but also just realize where you might be holding yourself back energetically and where that is for you in the body that wants to move through, so you can move forward with more expedited movement, not stuck in the pattern that we keep mulling around in. So powerful. It's such a beautiful perspective. And we each have the beautiful collective layering like we've talked about here, as well as our personal year energy, our personal goals, and our personal I'll just say karma for the year that's actually here to rise us into a thriving expression. So if that's something that you're interested in, just comment forecast below and I'll reach out to you so we can connect. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. It's going to be a beautiful, fresh new start. Lots of fresh new starts this month. Our relationship with more from that moment on, and also the relationship of ourselves, who we are as we become this next beautiful version of what we haven't yet experienced, and allowing ourselves to be open freely in the heart space, not resisting, not blocked off, not closed from who we'll continue to become. So we're not cycling backwards, we're literally pulling ourselves forward as the leaders that we are. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Keep posting your reflections and comments below, and I will respond personally. Bye.